dawn of the 1970s, there was an emerging hero in New York. He was a jet, but he could not fly. Suddenly, out of Butte, Montana, came another hero. His name was Robert Craig Knievel, and he could fly. He was the king of the daredevils, Evel Knievel. In the words of Evel himself, kids, don't try this at home.
2, 1. This is the moment of excitement.
He'll build up speed as quickly as he can, and here he goes.
Spanning the globe to bring you the constant variety of sport, the thrill of victory, and the agony of defeat. The human drama of athletic competition. This is ABC's Wide World of Sports.
Hi, everybody. I'm Chris Fowler. Welcome to Classic Wide World of Sports. One of the most popular figures to emerge in the American sports scene in the 1970s was Evel Knievel. Now, daredevils had existed before Evel, but they played on wacky concepts and zany stunts with all manner of contraptions. Evel Knievel was different. Clad in patriotic colors, Knievel became a regular on ABC's Wide World of Sports as he climbed aboard his Harley-Davidson and jumped over all manner of vehicles in a variety of arenas. Knievel was the consummate showman, and fans flocked to see his jumps, some to see him soar, others to see him crash. His youth in Montana was filled with competition. Knievel was a loner, not a team player. He was rebellious, admitted to stealing hubcaps, and later claimed to rob banks. Evel's evenings often ended with him fleeing the local police on his motorcycle. In fact, it was the Butte police who gave him his nickname. The officers, tired of writing his name in the police blotter so much that they shortened it to Evel. Around 1965, Evel formed a troupe called Evel Knievel's Motorcycle Daredevils. They did small-time stunts at county fairs, jumping over rattlesnake pits, mountain lions, and through walls of fire. Evel went solo in 1966. As Wide World of Sports was covering a motorcycle race in Gardena, California, they decided to air part of the pre-race entertainment. It was the new solo daredevil, Evel Knievel.
Before we get back to racing, I'd like to introduce to you a most unusual young man. This is Evel Knievel, and his specialty in sports is to take a motorcycle up over a ramp and leap through the air some 90 feet. That's what I'm trying to do today, over 15 automobiles. Now, have you ever done 15 before, Evel?
Bill, I never have. I missed a jump up in the northwestern part of the United States over 13, and I was hospitalized and laid up for nearly 5 months, and I sure hope that doesn't happen today.
Wow, how many cars were you attempting at that time?
13.
13, and you missed it?
That's right.
You're trying 15 today?
Well, the parachute's ready, the motorcycle's ready, and I'm not going to miss today.
It's March 25th, 1967. The young Evel is wearing a yellow helmet, yellow and black leathers, and he's riding a Triumph. In front of him are 15 cars. Bill Fleming has the call from Gardena, California.
Right now, everyone here in the crowd has their eyes riveted on a young man by the name of Evel Knievel, who is set and ready in his yellow daredevil leathers and new racing helmet to attempt the leap over 15 cars. You saw J.C. Agajanian there in the background, nervously pacing up and down. An exciting moment here at Gardena, California, even for the young ones. To soar through the air, airborne for about feet, on a normal Triumph machine. And he's set to go. Takeoff, of course, very critical. He'll build up speed as quickly as he can, and here he goes. And he makes it. A beautiful leap as Evel Knievel gets the roar of approval from the crowd here, going beautifully over 15 cars. Well, now let's take a look at it again in slow motion to see the techniques used. Here he comes. This is a parabolic curve so that rear wheel will keep the traction. Now, as you see, he rises in the seat and makes a perfect landing. A wild way to ride a motorcycle.
One of the many problems facing daredevils is that their next stunt must always be bigger, better, and more previous one. Evel Knievel's arrival on the national scene came in the emerging show business mecca of Las Vegas. Now, this time around, he was putting cars and buses behind him. On New Year's Day 1968, Knievel was set to jump over some glitzy new Vegas architecture, namely the fountains outside the new Caesars Palace Resort Casino on the Strip. Some say it was this jump that first cemented Evel Knievel's place in sports history. His crash landing at Caesars Palace is one of the most vivid slow-motion portraits of pain ever captured on film. The only other Evel crash that could top Caesars was his wipeout landing at San Francisco's cramped Cow Palace in March of 1972. After surviving the horrendous crashes at Caesars and the Cow Palace, Evel found himself with a cult following in America. With little help from Wide World of Sports, interest in Evel Knievel was starting to skyrocket in the early 1970s.
When he arrived on the scene, this country was in a gray area that had not been seen in my lifetime. There were no simple answers to anything. We were involved in the Vietnam War, women's evolution was going on. There was nothing. There were no easy black and white answers. And this guy came down the road in a star-spangled suit and said, I'm going to do something very simple, the consequences of which can be death. And it appealed instantly.
Let's go to Los Angeles. It's the fall of 1973, and Bill Fleming once again has the call.
We are now at the 51st row of the Los Angeles Coliseum. Now, ideally, we would like to take off at about 100 miles an hour on the in-run. Soar over the 50 cars, make a two-point landing. This is going to be it. Evel carries about 6 or 7 bikes with him, then he tests them all before one jumps, picks the one that's performing best. He's ready. And he's got it made. There goes the chute. Whoops, he's airborne as he goes through the peristyle. But the word is he's okay. And have you ever seen so many cameras in all your life? Fantastic jump, and here he comes back into the tremendous thunderous applause here in the Coliseum. Well, Evel, you did it again.
Well, another day, another dollar.
Yeah, you make it sound awful easy, but it isn't quite that easy.
That jump going out the Coliseum, I think, was just as wild as the one going over the cars. I'm glad that parachute was open, I'll tell you.
I'll tell you this, is if you were on form and beauty, it would have been 100 today. It was absolutely a beautiful jump.
Well, thank you, Bill. I don't think I jumped quite 50 yards, but, you know, I'm getting to be on up in, I guess, what you call age to where I can't heel as good as I used to. And being 34 years old, every time I make a jump, I thank God when it comes down that I'm still alive, no matter how far I went.
You know, Evel, you're shaking a little bit.
Well, if you did what I did, you'd be shaken too, Bill.
There never has been anything quite like this man, Evel Knievel, Super Daredevil.
Coming up, when classic Wide World of Sports returns, the first of 4 big jumps in Evel Knievel's very busy year of 1974.
I'll make a bet of $100,000 right now, $100,000 in cash, that I can jump when I'll take Howard Cosell on the handlebars of the back end of the motorcycle. And I'll bet you $100,000. No way.
You're watching Classic Wide World of Sports on ESPN Classic.
Come fly with me, the music says, and that's the scene set, the backdrop for the arrival here at the Green Valley Racetrack in North Richland Hills, Texas, of the one and only Evel Knievel, led by a security police car, the familiar Ferrari. And in the Ferrari with Evel, the man relaxing him for the occasion, Dandy Don. And behind that, the unique, only one of its kind, 73 Cadillac station wagon, and behind that, the $91,000 performing van that has become a kind of symbol, a trademark for Evel Knievel. Evel today facing one of the great challenges of his performing life. 11 Mack trucks to be jumped over, an adverse wind operating against him, but relaxed, as I said, by the presence of the irrepressible cowboy, Dandy Don Meredith.
Howard, I brought you a jacket.
You brought me a
Snake
jacket.
River Canyon. I'm making you official pit crew member. There's the...
Well, yeah, that's very kind of you. Let's get that motorcycle in here right now.
How about you going over with him, Howard?
I would love to do that. This is an authentic jump. You
jumping
didn't
11.
feel that there was an authentic jump not too long ago.
Well, there was a jump made in Houston a couple of weeks ago that they said was over 16 cars, and it was only over 8, and they had 8 more parked behind it, and you can see that my 10 all in a line out there. There isn't anything phony about it. I'll tell you one thing. I'll make a bet
11
of $100,000 right now, $100,000 in cash, that I can jump further in the Houston Astrodome than that jump that was made there 2 weeks ago, and I'll take Howard Cosell on the handlebars of the back end of the motorcycle.
And I'll bet you
There's no way.
Yeah.
I'll bet you
$200,000.
$100,000 you won't get me on. But I want everybody here in North Richland Hills, Texas, to know that Meredith has the courage that he displayed for all those years wearing number 17 for the Cowboys. He's going to go on with you. Go ahead.
I'm going to do what?
You're going on with him.
I'm going to go. I'm not going over those trucks with him.
No, but you can at least drive off with him.
Well,
Watch this, folks. Watch Dandy Don at his best with Evel Knievel.
Would you keep my hat?
Go ahead, put it on. Here we go. They're going off. That's Don Meredith at his best, showing you the kind of courage that was uniquely his through all of the years. Evel Knievel's courage, of course, a matter now of public record. 30,000 people in North Richland Hills, Texas, to watch Evel Knievel go after his longest leap yet. And I've got to tell you, Don, this wind has to be a factor.
I don't really understand all this stuff, man. Why in the world does he do this, Howard?
Well, he put it philosophically with the 3 basic questions of life as he sees it. Where do you come from? What are you doing? And where do you go from here?
Here he
well,
comes
right
down
now, he's coming down in his first practice warm-up. He'll go past the ramp, as you saw, slow down his speed, the platform, which leads up to the 11 Mack trucks that he'll be jumping over today. He's moving around directly in front of us now, and he's getting a final word from his man there. Roger, by the way, has been with him for years, and it's Roger, his full name, and he's told him that conditions are now, in his opinion, good. Cameras are focused upon Evel.
And the wind is a factor, Howard. This thing is really whipping down here in your Texas area, and here he comes.
He did it!
Wow.
He did it!
Yeah.
Only 11 misses and 300 leaps previously, and he did it. Come on over here, Evel. Evel is coming over, and as I said, unbelievable.
I made it okay.
You sure did make it okay. Now, I had judged from the distance you went past the last truck, you cleared it by maybe 50 to 55 feet.
Well, the landing ramp is 56 feet long, and I landed right on the bottom of it. I'll tell you, if I haven't done the training that I have done and been in the physical shape I'm in right now, I'd have probably broken my back. I really don't feel very good, I'll tell you.
I'll bet you don't.
Knocked the breath right out of me.
It's in slow-mo. Got it right there.
Goodbye, last Mack truck.
There it is. You're over it, and you really did clear it. That's like that's 50 or 60 feet.
When I hit there, you can see what happened. It just splattered.
Yeah.
But you know what? There's no better feeling in the world than to land that thing and be hanging on to it no matter what kind of shape you're in.
That's the story then today. Dandy Don Meredith, Evel Knievel, Howard Cosell, right here in North Richland Hills, Texas. And Evel Knievel did the job. More than 150 feet.
The jump in Texas was the first major jump in Evel Knievel's very busy year of 1974. Could say it was his year of living dangerously. He had 4 major jumps in 4 different locations, 1 in Canada, and would jump over a combined total of 41 trucks. Following the jump in Highland Falls, Texas, Evel found himself back in the Memorial Coliseum in Portland, Oregon. It was March 31st, 1974, on the eve of April Fool's Day. Attempting to clear 17 vehicles. He had jumped the Memorial Coliseum 3 years earlier and broke his throttle hand on a hard landing. This time around, Evel was building his 1974 momentum that was going to lead to the grandest of spectacles by the end of the year. Evel had a special announcement about that in Portland. Let's go to Memorial Coliseum where Frank Gifford has the call.
Evel Knievel has emerged from his van here at the Memorial Coliseum in Portland, Oregon. Colorfully garbed as he always is, Evel Knievel will attempt a tremendous jump tonight. Good luck.
Thank you, Frank.
Colorful in every way, Evel Knievel, who has become a pop hero, if you will, around the country, traveling with that large van. He'll be traveling at a speed between 80 and 85 miles per hour on the takeoff ramp. He's about ready. Here he comes. More perfect. Could not have been more perfect. Evel Knievel. There he is. And he is happy. Back at the Coliseum, and Evel, I'll tell you, couldn't have been more perfect.
Frank, I'll tell you, I can't say enough for the guys who worked so hard with me down here the last 3 days. We moved a ramp just before the jump because we thought it was going to rain. And to tell you the truth, none of us thought that I could make this jump in here. And I want to tell you something.
You know, I said that earlier, Evel. I sensed something about it. I've known you for a long time, but I sensed something about it you didn't like.
No, but, you know, we sold this place out tonight, and I just as soon miss the jump as have them boo me out of here. And I'm almost to the end of my road, and I'm not going to let that happen yet. I went to Idaho, and I bought a piece of the Snake River Canyon. It's my canyon. They cannot take it away from me, and the only way they're going to stop me from jumping is with an anti-aircraft gun. They're going to have to shoot me out of the air. September the 8th. I'm going to go like hell, and I'm going to get across that thing faster and further than you've ever seen me today.
This is Classic Wide World of Sports.
I first came in contact with Evel Knievel about 5 years ago when I got a call from his agent in California. At that time, Evel was considering jumping in the Grand Canyon and couldn't make connections with the government, so he came into Twin Falls and took over some property out here, and now is planning to jump the Snake River Canyon, which is quite a jump, and I'm just glad he's doing it and not myself. I'm not going to ride behind him. I think Evel's maybe a little bit off his rocker, but this is his business and not mine.
We go now to August 20th, 1974, just 18 days before the canyon jump. Snake River hype is in full swing. But Evel first had to take care of some unfinished business north of the border. He was going to jump 13 trucks in Toronto at the Canadian National Exposition. The Toronto event also marked the debut of Evel's sons, Kelly and Robbie. Keith Jackson has the call.
The sons, Kelly, 14, Robbie, 11. This is the first time, as Evel pointed out, his two boys had performed. And it's an auspicious time because they've walked in a mammoth football stadium and they're looking at more than 22,000 people. But you can't see a nerve in their body, can you? Perhaps they inherited that from their dad. This is the moment of psych. This is the moment where he sells himself on the idea that he can do it. He's done it so many times before, but every circumstance is different. Every obstacle is different. Visually, it is different. It is a long way across. Many, many times we've thought tempting fate too severely. What about this time? Well, let's see what we can see. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. He hit it right on target. And listen to the crowd. And so the feat is done. And the applause rings through the night. Let's take another look as Evel Knievel clears 13 parked Mack trucks 104 feet. See him hit the ramp. A little bit out of shape. Pulls the big 750 back into shape, hurdling 550 pounds onto the ramp in exactly the spot he wanted to hit.
So in Toronto, the kids were all right. Evel showed off Robbie and Kelly and cleared the unlucky number of 13 trucks. After his Canadian success, Evel could now step up the scale Snake River height. But people were starting to wonder, hey, who is this guy anyway? We get the cover of Sports Illustrated just 6 days before the canyon jump. But ABC's space program reporter, Jules Bergman, wanted more information. Here's Jules asking, who is Evel Knievel, and why is he about to climb into a steam-powered skyrocket in Twin Falls, Idaho?
Is it just a form of summer madness, or is Evel Knievel a reflection of our times, a backlash against weary frustrations and hidebound convention? Or, on the other hand, could Evel Knievel just possibly be for real, the last of the true originals, struggling against nearly impossible odds and outrageously insane risks to accomplish what no one else would dare attempt? Another possibility, is Evel Knievel a con man out to pull one of the all-time stunts, pocketing a cool $1 million or more in the bank, then walking off into the Montana sunset, laughing his head off? September 8th is the firmly committed date for the long-awaited Snake River Canyon jump. Evel Knievel will be either a national hero or a dead screwball. There is no in-between.
Will he or won't he jump the canyon?
So on September the 9th, if you're somewhere, anywhere in this country, in a crowd or wherever, someone says to you, that guy should have never jumped that canyon, you know if he did, that he would lose his life, and he was crazy. Do me a favor. Tell him that you saw me here, and that regardless of what I was, that you knew me, and that I kept my word.
We're at T-minus 24 hours here at the Snake River Canyon launch site, and the X-2 Sky rocket directly behind our ABC Sports headquarters here is beginning to look like it may actually be ready to fly tomorrow. The work crews are still at work on the final touches on the engine and ready on the parachute. A crowd we'd estimated 6,000 to 8,000 persons has already gathered here in motorcycle events. It looks like the flight may actually go tomorrow.
I definitely think he'll jump the canyon. He's impressed me as an extremely articulate individual and knows exactly what he's doing. He's apparently got a good engineering background. I've got no doubt he'll make it.
How can any man get in a small contraption like that and go that far and expect to make it? It's impossible.
The man does whatever he says he's going to do, and he gives it a real good try.
He's jumped all the trucks and cars and all that. Jump is. He's gonna wipe out in midair and fall down the river.
Well, I don't know. I'm just scared to death for him.
I think somebody's got to be crazy to do it, but he's going to.
I think he's a pro. He'll make it.
We're back at the Snake River Canyon launch site. It's T-minus 25 hours for Evel Knievel's one-man canyon flight in this vehicle, the X-2, which must fly across this 600-foot deep canyon, a third of a mile wide, or Evel may not survive at all. It's spectacular terrain and a spectacularly gutty mission. The major new element here in this last day before launch has been Evel's short-tempered outbursts. The flight preparations seem to be on time, and the X-2 behind us should be ready for blastoff tomorrow at around 5:20 p.m. Eastern Time.
When has a motorcycle daredevil ever had a NASA-style T-minus countdown for one of his jumps? There was abundant tension on the rim of Snake River Canyon on September 8, 1974. 30,000 fans had arrived on the scene and turned it into a Woodstock-style party. The local police, alarmed at the loose party atmosphere, called in reinforcements. The officers watched over the crowd with shotguns poised on hips. Meanwhile, Evel Knievel had suffered a sleepless night. He was coming to grips with his probable death that was about to be seen on pay-per-view and a week later on Wide World of Sports. He even purchased a family plot in a cemetery right before the Snake River jump. Who better to do the play-by-play of Evel's monumental Snake River jump than David Frost? He was joined by ABC's Jules Bergman and astronaut James Lovell, the commander of the famous Apollo 13 mission. Let's get to it now, the moment everyone had been waiting for. Evel Knievel's September 8, 1974 attempt to clear the Snake River Canyon in Twin Falls, Idaho in a steam-powered sky cycle.
Well, here we are with the great man sitting right here beside me, as Jim Lovell was saying. Evel, you never normally get a chance to talk to an astronaut just before blastoff. And can I ask the question, therefore, to you as an astronaut that millions are asking at this moment? What do you think your chances are?
I think my chances right now are 90% go. I've got a team behind me with Mr. Truax and all the boys that are 100%, and I think we'll do it. I wish the wind wasn't blowing so hard, but I think we'll do it.
You think you'll both not only come back here for our second conversation in the afternoon, you think you'll do it without mishap, or you mean you think you'll come through whatever happens?
Well, I hope so. That's the only feeling I have.
Are you afraid at this moment?
I think that a man was put here on Earth to live, not just to exist. And today is the proudest day of my life. I'm living a dream that they thought could never be done, but it'll be done.
Happy landings, Evel.
Thank you, David. I'll be back.
I'll see you in a few minutes up here. He'll be back. The words of Evel Knievel. He'll be back.
He lives from day to day, never thinking about tomorrow.
We're now counting. The clock has started. 1 minute, 49 seconds.
This is Classic Wide World of Sports on ESPN Classic.
It's a great moment now. Happy landing, Evel. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, Evel, stay with the bird, stay with the bird. It looks like you're going to go into the canyon. You had a premature shoot. You have a good shoot on you. Come on. Stay with the vehicle, stay with the vehicle. Put your visor up as you can.
You cannot see it now. There she goes, beneath the rim of the canyon.
It's going to crash, obviously, into the river.
It is okay, though. She's coming down about 17 feet per second. Slowly going down.
Just cleared the rocks, thank God. It looks like he is in the water. Robert Craig Knievel appears to have landed in the Snake River.
What does it look like, Bob?
It looks like he didn't hold on to the handle.
Like we feared.
Yeah.
Where does it look like he's down in the water?
No, I'm afraid he's down in the rock side, but I can't see.
In the water.
In the water. In the water. Okay,
sorry, just up to the frogman now.
Robert Craig Knievel did not clear the 1,600-foot Snake River Canyon. He has landed in the Snake River. Jim, it appeared to me as if he made no attempt to try to get out of the vehicle, wasn't it? Because he was not up high enough?
Well, there'd be no attempt to try to get out of the vehicle that time, Len. It's best to stay in it and let the main chute recover you, which he did do.
The family, and we're racing around to them now, is hysterical and in shock, crying. They think Evel may be dead or maybe drowning in the river. Let's quickly see again what happened. Here it is, the rocket ready to go off the pad in a burst of white-hot steam. And there's the chute much too soon. What went wrong? No one is sure.
Evel Knievel is standing in the boat and waving. He is alive and well. I think at this point we can all say thank God.
What do you guys think now?
I think he's a very, very brave man. I think he's a hell of a man.
To man of his word, he did it. I can't believe he did it, but he did it.
Took a lot of guts?
Took more than enough guts.
Would you have done it?
No way.
No, not even for $6 million?
Not even for $6 million.
Less than 20 minutes after blasting off, Evel Knievel is back at his launch pad now in a cloud of dust. Premature parachute deployment. He couldn't hold the chute, but he landed safely in the water. He's walking on his own. Looks like he has a bloody nose, and he's bleeding from the eyes a little bit. How do you feel, Tiger?
I love Evel.
Oh, I don't know, Julie.
How rough was the landing?
Two or three shells and bounced down, but I was strapped in so tight that came through it all right. I don't know what happened.
You lost
it
you couldn't hold the spring?
It went sideways. It turned. Now, I don't know what happened down here, but Ron and Bob both told me if I saw the canyon wall and not the sky,
for Christ's sake, to let it go, and when it turned, I let her fly. I didn't know what had happened. It just about knocks you out, Jules, when it takes...
How were you rescued, though? How were you rescued, Evel? Thank God you were.
They came and got me out down there in the trees and put me in the boat. I couldn't get my safety belt.
Unharnessed?
Unharnessed. If I'd have gone in the river, I'd have never got out of it, ever.
Where did you land? Right on the shore?
Well, I landed into the wall on this side and then bounced down. But I don't know what happened. It's just, I think...
People?
I don't know. I just can't say. I'll have to let Bob and the fellas examine it.
Are you going to try it again?
Well, I don't know what I'm going to do. I sat in it and gave it my best, and I don't know what to tell you.
While 30,000 watched Evel in his premature parachute fall into the canyon live, the rest of the country had to settle for paid admissions at movie theaters to see Evel soar. ABC's Wide World of Sports rebroadcast the Snake River jump the following week. Ratings for the Evel Knievel Snake River jump are the 9th highest in Wide World of Sports history. Not bad for a tape-delayed event. So Evel Knievel, who had failed but survived his battle with the Snake River Canyon, was about to take his act overseas. Some Englishmen had lined up some buses in Wembley Stadium, and by Jove, he was going to jump them.
Indio, 1967 series of Palace. Here he goes, and he will go. Oh my God.
Chris Fowler here, welcoming you back to Classic Wide World of Sports. On May 31st, 1975, Evel Knievel entered the venue of legends, London's Wembley Stadium, having put the Snake River Canyon debacle of 9 months earlier behind him. Hustling to promote his own event in London, Evel's appearances around the city gave a late boost to ticket sales. 90,000 fans packed Wembley to see if he could clear 13 double-decker buses. Friend and Evel Knievel expert Frank Gifford, who always seems to be lurking outside of Evel's van, was, of course, on hand with the call. Let's go to Wembley to see if Evel can do it on May 31st, 1975.
It's a turned-on crowd at Wembley Stadium as Evel Knievel returns to action. The people have stared at the ramp, at the 13 buses, almost in amazement. They say it can't be done. Evel says, I can do it.
We will go up to the ground now to talk to Frank Gifford of ABC Television at the bottom of the exit ramp.
2 times as many people in this stadium as you have in your entire hometown of Butte, Montana.
Well, it's a wonderful feeling. I think maybe I'd rather be home.
You know, Evel, one has to wonder, after the Snake River, you never said you would retire. You never said that was it or anything else, but one has to wonder why you continue.
Well, I sometimes think that maybe I should quit, but you always want to keep going, and I'm kind of proud of that red, white, and blue number 1 I wear on my shoulder, and I want to keep it on there. I'm glad you're here today. You know, I've never had an accident when you're around, and
you won't have one today.
You came to London, I'll tell you that.
One other thing, the lay, you haven't jumped in over a year.
Yeah, well, I may not be as good as I always was, but you're going to find out today I'm as good once as I always was.
This is long and high.
I'll make it.
Good luck.
Thank you, Frank.
He will be going about 90 miles an hour when he leaves the ramp. He estimates he'll cover 140 feet. 10 feet either direction, and it could be all over. Look at him. Made his first jump when he was 15. Countless other jumps after that. In 1966, hurt himself in Indio. 1967 series of Palace. Here he goes, and he will go. He's down, and he is hurt. Oh, my God.
Nobody please touch his head. Stand away until his own people can be there. Ladies and gentlemen of this wonderful country, I've got to tell you that you are the last people in the world
who will ever see me jump, because I will never, ever, ever jump again. I am through.
That's enough, man. You've proved enough. Let's get the stretcher.
Let me get off the ramp. Please help me walk off the ramp. Frank, take me off.
I got you, buddy. Whatever you want. You got it.
Evel Knievel always delivered what he said he was going to do. Here he was in Wembley Stadium before somewhere between 80 and 100,000 people. He knew he had a part missing to his bike. He knew he probably couldn't make it all the way across. He was implored to cancel the jump, but Evel wouldn't do it. He was not going to risk his reputation of bailing out an event. He would rather risk his life than risk his reputation.
Welcome back to Classic Wide World of Sports and our look at the daring duo of Evel Knievel and his now famous X-rays. Let's get back to the issue of Sports Illustrated for a minute. Was it the famous SI cover jinx that kept him from landing on the other side of Snake River? We'll never know. But we do know that in that cover story, one of Knievel's partners in the Sky Cycle venture had referred to Evel as the White Muhammad Ali. Now, he was talking about Evel's penchant for exaggeration with the press, his put-ons, red herrings, and constantly rewrote his self-history. With the dramatic retirement announcement on the landing ramp at Wembley, Evel showed that he did have a little boxing-style showmanship in him. While Evel's statements never even hinted at the poetry spouted by Ali, there was a certain bravado that brought out Evel's own brand of individualism. That said, Evel would later claim that he was in shock when he announced that Wembley was his last jump. He lied to the blokes. Evel was destined to jump again in October of 1975. Perhaps following the overseas theme, he picked Kings Island, an amusement park outside of Cincinnati, Ohio, that is known for its replica of the Eiffel Tower. Let's throw it wide world style to who else? Frank Gifford, again finding himself outside of Evel's van. This time, he's at Kings Island, Ohio, where 14 Greyhound buses stand between Evel and pay dirt on October 25th, 1975.
We understand he is about ready to make his appearance. And here he comes right now, Robert Craig Knievel. Evel, welcome to Kings Island. Thank you. Good crowd.
Ready to go. Looks like there's enough of them to blow me over it if I can't get that Harley Davidson over it.
The wind, we'll talk about that again, Evel, gusting a problem?
Well, it looks from the side of the flags that it may have died down a little bit, but I'm going to go, Frank. There's no wind going to stop me, not even a hurricane.
His total concentration now is getting that bike off the approach ramp and onto the landing ramp. And he's not hesitating. He'll go. Evel, you have to be a little bit relieved. I know how tight you were, how tense you were, although you made some really good practice jumps this afternoon. We're going to take a look at it on the replay, and you perhaps tell us where it went right, where it went wrong. It never goes wrong when you make it, does it?
Well, see here, the whole side of the motorcycle is busted up, and when I came off a takeoff, I was a little bit crooked. I tried to get straightened up. Look at that front end. I almost lost it, but boy, that suspension held. I lit right on top of that 14th bus and went on down and landed okay, and right there I'm saying, boy. Frank, I'd like to say something before we get off the air. You've been a friend and a great guy for my backbone when maybe I didn't have it. I want to thank you personally for it.
Glad to be with you.
Okay, Frank. Thank you.
Evel's final jump on Wide World of Sports, but not the last one on his storied career, was over 7 buses inside the Seattle Kingdom. Here's Frank Gifford with the call of Evel's last Wide World of Sports jump in Seattle, October 30th, 1976.
Warming up at the top now. Had a quick word with Roger Riemann. Says he is ready. Again, keep your eye on that one area where he will sink down on the bike. And then he must get himself into control for the takeoff approach. Full power on. Leaving the ramp. At a speed, well, it's hard to say, 65, 70 miles per hour. Traveling at a distance to clear these 7 Greyhound buses, approximately 80 feet, and I believe he's going to go. He hits the power, he's going.
The relatively easy Seattle Kingdom jump didn't even hit the charts among Evel Knievel's domination of the Wide World of Sports ratings. The Kings Island jump, by the way, remains to this day as the all-time ratings champion of Wide World of Sports. It pulled in a 22.3, or roughly 52% of the household share. Many of Evel's other jumps also ranked among the top-rated shows of Wide World history. After the ho-hum Seattle jump, Evel's next jump was to be over a shark tank in Chicago. A landing mishap on the practice jump resulted in more serious injuries for Knievel. He had a concussion and 2 broken arms, and a cameraman was also seriously injured in the jump. After the mess in Chicago, Evel was facing his 40th birthday. His bones were taking longer to heal. He had infections from repeated hospital stays. So as the bicentennial came to a close, he retired again. In his public address introduction of Evel at the Kingdom jump, Frank Gifford had called Knievel the greatest showman in the world. Soul singer James Brown might have a problem with that label, but a lot of kids who grew up in the 1970s would agree with Gifford. Hollywood had taken a shine to Evel. George Hamilton portrayed Evel in the 1971 film Evel Knievel, and Evel played himself in the 77 film Viva Knievel, with an all-star cast of Lauren Hutton, Gene Kelly, Red Buttons, Leslie Nielsen.
I don't want to shoot your last jump. I don't want you to ever have a last jump.
That's the nicest thing you said to me. I just met you.
Evel's acting, much like many of his landings, it was a bit shaky, but the film has become somewhat of a cult classic. Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, "The only sin is limitation." For motorcycle daredevils and entertainers like Evel Knievel, nothing rings truer. Evel said it himself. Motorcycles do not have wings. There is a point of no return. Having to constantly upgrade the thrills and challenges of each jump should make for a short career for daredevils. But Evel Knievel's legacy has managed to live on well into the 1990s. Evel's son, Robbie, has, of course, taken up his father's passion for the jump circuit. As the heir to the throne that is the king of daredevils, Robbie Knievel graduated from those few meek wheelies we saw in Toronto back in 1974 to his jump at the Grand Canyon, fulfilling a dream his father had but never realized. His landing may have been rough, but he survived, just like his dad did a generation before. Knievel's motorcycle jump memorabilia are among the displays of the Smithsonian Institute in Washington, D.C., immortalizing him as America's legendary daredevil. We hope you enjoyed this special edition of Classic Wide World of Sports. I'm Chris Fowler. We'll see you next time.
You can move a mountain, leap across the winding river. Once he's made his mind up, there's nothing